What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Waypoint Ranks. We took a bit of a hiatus over the last year and a half, but we're back. We're going to rank every single game on every single tier of the PS Plus redo. So let's just jump into it. Shit ton of games for us to rank. Let's do it. Obviously, I'm just messing with you. This is a joke for the OGs that remember when we ranked the PlayStation Plus collection back
If you
in
know, you know.
2020.
You know.
If you know, you know. But we're back. Media Club this time. Shared screens. Whole new us. Whole new PlayStation Plus. I'm joined by Austin, Jordan, and Alec.
Yo.
Good to be here with you folks. How are y'all doing?
Great.
Pretty good. Josh, I feel like I haven't been on content with you in like a year.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's
Was
been
it
a hot
since
minute
the
for sure.
Valentine's Day stream?
The Albatross Soup stream.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
the
Albatross.
podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a
That's-
good
that's
one.
probably
That was
the
a good
last
one
time.
if you guys missed that.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Sony PlayStation put out a small sample. I mean, actually, a pretty big sample of what we're gonna get next month with the new PlayStation Plus rework, all new PlayStation Plus as they're calling it. Multiple tiers, shit ton of games for each tier. They gave us kind of the PlayStation Studios breakdown, as well as the third party breakdown. So with the extra, so the kind of base tier, kind of just your standard PlayStation Plus as you know it. But if you sign up for PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, you get a lot of these games. Big standouts here: Bloodborne, Concrete Genie, Days Gone, Demon's Souls. PS5 was not expecting that. That's pretty
Big
dope that
one
it's in
there.
Oh yeah, director's cuts including Ghost of Tsushima, as well as Death Stranding, Medieval, Marvel's Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
Let's go.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you said Ghost of Tsushima, but I totally heard goats, and I want that
Goat.
game.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Goat.
Yeah.
Goats of
Absolutely.
Tsushima.
Sucker Punch if you're listening.
Do we have a DLC for you? Oh my god. Put it in Legends. Oh my god. Goat versus Goat. Returnal should have won Game of the Year last year. Should have been our Game of the Year last year, but Halo Infinite. But that's just a me thing.
It happens.
Until Dawn. All the Uncharted games. You can get the Nathan Drake collection. 4 Lost Legacy. That's super dope. Third-party partners. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If you want to sink
That
500
is a
hours
big
into a game.
one.
Big one. A little bit more on that later. Far Cry 3 Remaster, Far Cry 4, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition,
Hell yeah.
11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Resident Evil, which I hope they're playing their cards a little closer to the chest on that one, and they have some more Capcom content coming, because there should just be like the first Resident Evil, like the remake of the GameCube version. A little weird, I'm not gonna lie. And then you get the classic games catalog. So this is kind of the PS original as well as the PSP games. So we have Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf, Jumping Flash, Siphon Filter. Old games, old. A lot of them gone over my head reading this. I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
I'll never actually play these games. Like I'm one of those people like, oh, it's really cool, and I'd love to play that, and I never get around to it because I don't care enough. But I've never played Ape Escape, so like that's exciting to me.
I'll play
I guess.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
At least the demo
And
was the one that was on a demo disc for one of the games my cousins had.
Pizza Hut demo disc.
I don't know where I think it was. I don't remember the name of the demo disc. It was just one of those that had like 16 different games on it. Had like cool borders. Had like this mech assault game.
Did it have a Crash level too?
Yes, Crash 2.
And the cover was like navy blue, and it just had a bunch of white text for the titles.
I think this was like yellow, but it could have been. I don't know. This was like in the 90s. So
Right.
Oh,
your guess is as good as mine.
And that's all coming from PlayStation Studios in terms of those classics. From third parties, we got Tekken's 2, Worms World Party, Worms Armageddon. If you're into that,
Nice.
See, those
and
ones
then
I can
we
see
got-
myself playing.
Worms are fun.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like I'm burnt out on that.
Yeah, but like as
Yeah.
a party game, like I could see myself also turning on Siphon Filter.
Yeah, everyone's favorite party game.
And then we got some remasters too. So from PlayStation Studios, Ape Escape 2, Dark Cloud, and Dark Cloud 2, Jack 2, Jack 3, and Jack X combat racing, as well as the Precursor Legacy, uh, and Siren. From third-party partners, BioShock Remastered, Borderlands: The Handsome Jack Collection, which, if you're a Borderlands fan, I mean, there you go. Uh, and Lego Harry Potter collection, but other than that, not a whole lot. And then we got for the premium plan, PlayStation streaming. Of course, somebody fucked up the architecture of the PS3, and we'll never get backwards compatible games for a whole generation of consoles. We'll just be able to stream them. So
They'll
from
figure it out
PlayStation,
someday.
God, I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so.
Personally, I don't want to guess too off top, but I do think that Sony is like working on PS3 emulation, but they're kind of like, we can't get that ready, but we can't hold back on this release any longer.
Yeah.
So let's just put it out the way it is right now, and maybe 1 year, like with a big update for PlayStation Plus, it'll be like, hey, you can now play PS3 games natively.
Yeah, we figured it out. But Demon Souls on there, which is going to be cool to run through the PS5 version and then be able to stream the old PS3 version just to see night and day differences. Infamous, the first 2 games, as well as Festival of Blood,
Fuck yeah.
Motorstorm,
Yes.
Ratchet and Clank, shit ton of them. Resistance 3, weird that they're not doing Resistance 1 and 2.
1 and
I thought that
2.
was a little odd of an exclusion. And then for third-party partners, we have Fear, which
Hell yeah.
I know Austin's a big
Hell
fan.
yeah.
Castlevania, Devil May Cry, Lost Planet 2, and Red Dead Redemption. Undead Nightmare.
Not the base game.
It doesn't, not the base game, but like you
know
can
what? That's
stream
fine. That's fine.
arguably the best DLC of all time.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's a
without
hell of
any
a
nightmare.
package, that one.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you get some free game trials if you're going for that ultimate plan in terms of
Which
just Horizon Forbidden
there's
West.
more extra stuff in that ultimate plan, but like the one that stands out is the game trials, right?
Yep.
From what I remember,
Yeah,
just skimming through this stuff, yeah.
yeah, that's
Which-
their big push.
If you don't remember, on the PS3, they kind of had these for
Yes.
if you had PS Plus. Back on PS3, you could get for a majority of the big games that released, you could get a 60-minute demo.
I had a
Right.
PS3, but at the time I didn't have Wi-Fi, so
Oof.
yeah.
Yeah, but those were fun because like I remember my friend and I, we didn't have like the newest like NCAA football game, so we literally just downloaded the 60-minute demo and just played a game.
Nope.
That way. So
Yeah, I remember not being able to afford a bunch of games as a kid because like, what income am I getting? And just like downloading a shit ton of like free single player demos like Uncharted back in the day, and like literally in that first mission in Uncharted, I'd just roll around in the water to see how the water like stuck to Drake's clothes because like that
Fucking
was
weeb. God.
fucking mind blowing at the time. But that's about it for the sample. That's some highlights. What are we thinking here, fellas? Good selection. Are we off to a good start?
My question, it already has been answered, but just in case anyone else is stupid like me, you can download these games. The ones that are streaming are the ones that you listed specifically in the streaming portion in the second tier, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And those are only PS3
so-
games.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So
Uh,
that's
tho-
different for me because with like the only comparison before this to Game Pass was the PS Now, right? That's what PlayStation
Yeah.
and So like
Mhm.
that's a game changer for me personally that I can download these games
Oh,
instead of having to
same.
stream them because Fallout 3,
Oh,
a game that I've talked about to death, I tried playing that game through PS Now. It's just not possible. It just doesn't work. And I have pretty good Wi-Fi, but nope. And Ethernet.
I
and
did
all that.
it. I did it at the beginning of the pandemic. I was like, I'm gonna run through Fallout 3, and like I got it on PlayStation Now, started streaming it. Streaming wasn't bad, and I had like very good internet, but it was one of those things where I'm like, is this because it's a 2007 game, or is this because it's PlayStation Now? Like, where's the issue going?
As an
on?
expert
But
in Fallout 3, as someone who's played the original like literally 8 to 10 times, it did not feel the same at all. There was like input lag that I just could not get over. I
Right.
could not do it. And that's with Ethernet. So like
And how recently did you try that?
a little after we first started Waypoint would be
Gotcha.
when I did that.
So not
Right.
super long ago.
Yeah, no.
Nah.
So like, definitely the modern version of PlayStation now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it just I couldn't shake it. I played like 5 hours, and I was like, nope, can't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now that I've sunk my teeth into the 360 backwards compatible version on Series S, insane. Like night and
Totally.
day
Mm.
difference there, especially with
I
the FPS boost and everything.
I will say, as like a nostalgic nerd thing, seeing the old save screen from PS3 every time you want to save something is super cool. Like that's
100%.
like I don't know if that
Yeah.
anyone else has that feeling, but I'm like every time I save, you get the little boops and beeps, and you see the old screen, and like it's
Oh yeah.
maybe at like max like 720p, and you're like, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and
No, I
I
get you.
know there's a feature for some of the classic games too where you can now save them as well as like go back and be able to replay them. And so I wonder
Like
what the interface
rewind
is going to
feature or
look like
something
with
like
that.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I wonder if that's going to look more PS5 and PS4 or if it's going to have a UI of some of the old classic PS1 games. It'd be dope if it was PS1 and it was like a game card, like the save card sort of feature going
Mhm.
through the AI there. Um, but yeah, big gets on this list for sure in terms of like starting out. A lot of the games that we have to go off the front. Weird that we're getting Knack 1, but not Knack 2. Mark Cerny, where you at, my man? Little weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked that we was it all Jacks except for the first one? Jack and
Yeah,
Daxter?
the first
Uh,
one.
You got the
Yeah, the
first one?
you
precursor
got
Okay.
legacy.
Okay.
yeah, the precursor legacy.
Got a lot of those. Like
Uh,
that was surprising to me. I don't know why that was surprising to me, but here we
Well,
are.
absolutely.
they're
And then
on
I never
PlayStation
played.
now,
Are they okay?
and
Mhm.
I
on or does that PS2 to PS4 like
Which is what
program?
they're under here, I
oh
believe.
okay.
Yes.
Because
Sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Josh.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, like all the PS2 stuff is basically that PS2 to PS4
Yeah.
catalog just brought onto this here, which I it means that we might not see anything necessarily new. I hope there's a team at Sony going out to studios and saying, "Yo, can you
Mhm.
like bring this beloved PS2 game onto our service and like update it with trophies?"
Is Sly
Because like
Cooper on there?
Well, that's
no,
the
Right
thing I was
now.
about to say is I think it's interesting that we're getting all the Jack games and we're getting like some of the PS3 Ratchet games. We're not getting, as far as PS2 games go, Sly or Jack or Sly or Ratchets or just and which were like the three big kind of character
Mhm.
platformers of that console.
Mhm.
Um,
Why do you think that is, Jordan? Do tell.
I don't know. Well,
Damn.
I guess we were talking about this before where this was said in the beginning is it's peak at the selection or they use some wording like that. So a lot of
Yes,
people are thinking
exactly.
that maybe this is like what's going to be in every region rather than
Mhm.
and that maybe each region will then get more extra stuff added. I just do
Right.
think it's concerning that like the PS2 stuff is just what PS2 games have already been made for PS4
Totally.
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
the PS2 is kind of like the like echelon of like best game libraries. That would be the one I think that people would really pay the money for to get its library out there.
100%. 100%. And like
Mhm.
that is kind of one of the big key features of Xbox is not only having Game Pass but having this entire like category of backwards compatible games from 360 and the OG Xbox era, and you just straight up can't get those. So yeah, I hope someone is making these deals. I hope we see like stuff like Revenge of the Sith because they put out like the majority of PS2 Star Wars games, but not Revenge of the Sith for some reason, and it's like y'all
Yeah.
already have it updated from like
They're waiting
as
for
a
Kenobi to
PS2
come
game
out.
on PS3. Right? Which now's the time.
Ooh.
Now's the time. Drop it. Somebody at PlayStation for the love of God. And then like we were talking about some missing stuff here, and so it also does kind of like beg the question: is there maybe some remaster collections in the works? Hopefully, and that's why they're missing from this list. Because another noticeable exclusion: no Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
What?
As somebody who's hasn't played much of the franchise aside from Rising Revengeance, I would love to go back and replay through those.
So you haven't played the
I
franchise.
I had the same thought as like we have friends that are streamers and stuff like that, and they're going through and playing through the franchise start to finish. And I was
Mhm.
like, I'd love to do the same thing, but what's the most modern system I can play Metal Gear Solid 1 on? Oh, the PlayStation Classic. That little box with 30 preloaded games. I can play the director's cut on a PlayStation Classic.
What?
Like
That doesn't
that's it.
have the joysticks. You have to use the D-pad for the entire game.
Literally, literally. So it's weird that it's not here, but we know we know Konami's doing. There's the rumors going around this week that they're doing some Silent Hill stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe there's someone working on some Metal Gear stuff, and that's why it's just straight up not here. And 2 and 3 got pulled from stores recently, from digital stores. I can't
Mhm.
remember what that was over. I think
I
some.
mean, so if there's any licensed music in either of those games, that could be a very valid reason why they got pulled
Very
as
true.
well. That's a thing that
Right.
happens.
Yeah, often, which yeah, it'd be cool to have those back. And then I with the nature of the PS3, you'd only be able to stream for, but even for the big selling PlayStation exclusive, to push PS3s at the time, is excluded from the list. So it's just
Yeah.
Mhm.
where's these games at?
Do you guys think that anything was left out on purpose so that way they could be like, here's what's being added this month? So that way it kind of gets into the heads of people of like, oh, wow, like Sony is so dedicated to this program they've put out that that it's constantly being updated with more and more games. Now, obviously, these deals, if it's a third-party game, or even first-party games, these have to make deals with some of the people that were involved at the time. Like, those aren't going to happen within a month.
Right.
But do you think? But the public's not going to necessarily think of it that way. They're just going to be like,
Mhm.
Sony has added 10 games a month since this came out in its first year. We are so impressed by it. Do you guys think that that's part of it? Because
I think so.
yeah,
If you think about it, they come out with this, which a lot of people are kind of along, with me in that the extra tier seems to be an, a crazy deal that
Oh yeah.
way better than we were expecting. So
Mhm.
the fact that there's some omissions means that they are what they say they are updating it monthly. They get those pops
Right.
every month, kind of like Nintendo was when they first did the NES and SNES for the Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch Online. So you just give your kind of some big games, but then the next few months you can have more in your pocket to just
yeah. And
get
this
some
definitely
stories.
feels more like SNES Online than it does Game Pass.
Right.
But I feel like, Josh, before you ask what we think about this is exactly what I was expecting, and
What
I
do we
was
think about this?
expecting that it was going to be disappointing.
I
Just because
mean,
I feel
same.
I feel like Sony just still hasn't fully understood how they want to play into the changing
Game
landscape of gaming, and I don't know if I've said this before, but it's something I've always thought where it's I feel like Sony would be dumb to try to compete with Game Pass head on. I feel
Mhm.
like to
Mhm.
an extent, I agree with them in the sense that their games are so premium to make them all available day one on a subscription service would be a little unfair. Not
Yeah.
unfair, but I get why they think they're too premium for that. I actually kind of do see that
Mhm.
logic. But in the reverse, it's just Game Pass, the Game Pass's biggest advertising point is day and date on Game Pass, all our first party exclusive, plus other games we've made deals with. Oh, also when you look into it, you find out they have all these legacy games that have FPS boost and whatnot. Sony has a generation on Xbox. They were out an entire generation before Xbox came in. So I feel like Sony
Mhm.
should basically just admit to not trying to compete with Game Pass head on and market of the end of hey, all the legacy stuff is on here. Plus, a good chunk of our modern stuff is here. Some of it will be day and
Right.
date, and some of it will get there within a year after.
Mhm. One of the big things that struck me here is that we're getting the Artful Escape, and Annapurna put out a tweet today, pretty big indie publisher, and they put out a tweet that they're partnering with PlayStation for a lot of this, and they have that one game Stray in the
Stray.
works,
Yeah.
the cat game that from the first PS5 showcase that everyone loves. Game of the year contender this year. I think Stray coming day and date here
That'd be
would
cool.
be fantastic. Oh
Yeah.
That's a great point, honestly. I can totally see that happening.
So I was
Right.
gonna say, I also can see how this is going to change the 2 monthly games we get with PlayStation Plus. I
Right.
do think now what can happen is games that may not have been realistic to get day and date on PlayStation Plus in terms of it's 2 free games a month now have a better chance. And I feel it's like you could go either or where. And I know these games have wildly different success stories, but it's like, yeah, Fall Guys and Destruction All Stars, if those were coming out now, this comes out,
Yeah.
those ones I still think are in the realm of like, we can put them as the 2 free games a month. So even people with just the essentials can still get them. But something like Stray, or I'll even go as far to say it's like something kind of like Returnal, kind of like that second party world where you don't quite know how it's going to hit, but it's a bigger game that has bigger expectations than a free to play game. Those will be day and date just on the subscription service.
100%.
Mhm.
I could see that. I could definitely see that being the case for sure. And like, I hope that like they can snag some deals where maybe you don't get them day and date, but maybe at least 3 months down the road. Like Guardians coming to Game Pass a few months after release was like massive for Game Pass, and it's on here too. So
What
it'd be cool
is
if
the
they
newest
can-
game that's on here? I'm sorry to interrupt, Josh.
All good.
Mm.
Good
But-
question. It might be Guardians.
When did Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut come out?
That was August, I believe.
September.
Late August, early September.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
not good.
it's either Guardians or one of the director's cuts. I think the director's
Ooh,
cuts
Death
are
Stranding
August
was
and
pretty
Death
new.
Stranding, I think, was November, right?
okay, yeah, then it's Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Stranding's director's cut.
Because something else I noticed was that for Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, you're getting the PS4 version on the streaming service, but you do not the Legacy of Thieves version of it. You're only getting the time trial of if you're subscribed to that highest end. I feel like that's kind of dumb because they already did it where if you bought just one of the 2 Uncharted games that are in the Legacy of Thieves collections on PS4, you will get both of them for PS5. So they're already kind of giving these games out for free. I feel like they should have just made the Legacy of Thieves collection the part of the main streaming, but I think maybe they're internally, they might have a rule of a game has, at least under first party, game has to have been out at least blank amount of months before we put it on this service. Kind of like how with DMCU stuff on Disney Plus, like when the movies weren't coming onto the service, it was like 30 or 60 days, something like that, before the movies are actually on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I could totally see that being the case, and even like with stuff like because they're pretty buddy and buddy with Capcom. It's weird that that like not like Resident Evil 2 remake and 3 remake aren't on here, and we know we're about to get PS5 versions of those games coming out this fall. Same with like 7, so it's like you could at least give the PS4 versions out here, and same with there's another you get Marvel's Spider-Man, but you don't get Spider-Man Remastered. So maybe it is a certain amount of
which is
time.
also dumb because if you want to play Miles Morales, you need to have known what went down in the DLC.
Yeah.
Because it also just says Marvel Spider-Man. Like it's not even saying like Game of the Year edition. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're gonna give us old Peter's face. They just keep reminding us.
I prefer old Peter's face. I'll say it.
I stand old Peter.
Old Peter.
New Peter's growing on me.
Same. I'll say one thing I was really impressed by was the addition of the Ubisoft Plus Classics being added to this to Essential or to Extra and Premium. Because like for me, there's been a lot of times lately because I really loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I put so much time into that game, and there's been so many times when I've seen Valhalla on sale that I've almost clicked that buy button. So now seeing it on there, it's like, oh, cool, I can actually play this now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I bought Valhalla. I played for like 5 hours, and I was like, this is too big. It's just too big. I don't have time. I'm a grown man. I'm an adult, and I have things to do. I can't do this. Um,
That's 100% where I'm at too. And the Ubisoft thing, like, I don't know, like, because there's EA, like
EA
Xbox has
Play.
EA Play, and EA Play seems like a much better deal than
Oh yeah,
Ubisoft.
you got all the Star Wars
Because
stuff.
Ubisoft is exactly, but like Ubisoft is also just like you get a handful of their games. Like they're not even
Well,
they won't even give you Far
yeah.
Cry 5, but
So
they'll give you 3, 4.
I think Ubisoft is kind of not getting committed with one or the other streaming services because remember when Breakpoint, I think it was called. It's the one that was
Yep.
called Quarantine. When Breakpoint came out this year, it launched on Game Pass,
Right.
which basically made it essentially a free-to-play game. But Ubisoft knew that some people would pay nothing to pay the game and be like, "Oh, you know what? Let me put like
It
$60 in a microtransaction."
was Rainbow Six
Extraction.
Extraction. Breakpoint
Extraction.
is Ghost Recon.
My bad.
I
Either
looked
way,
it
one of the
Just wanna make that
Ubisoft's Tom
correction.
Clancy shooter things that all of them look the same
Yeah.
after a while.
You're
know,
not wrong.
You
You're
could
not wrong.
literally like rotate the semicolon for the Ghost Recon and the whatever, and it'd be like, yeah, sure.
Rainbow
Ghost
Six,
Recon
yeah.
Extraction, The Division Breakpoint, Rainbow Six. It's all the
Honestly,
same.
Yeah. All the Tom
Conviction,
Clancy
yeah.
games are just interchangeable.
The TCU, the Tom Clancy universe, whatever. The newest one was on Game Pass day of. And
Yep.
now we're getting kind of like the older Ubisoft games on this one. So I feel like that's just more Ubisoft going, we're not necessarily going to pick a side.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I don't think Ubisoft doesn't have like an equivalent to EA Play, right?
That's Ubisoft Plus. That's what's coming to. Because right now it's currently on Stadia, Luna.
But is that exactly like EA Play in the sense that like
Pretty
you
much.
basically get all of Ubisoft's games as a streaming?
Yeah,
As
just a little bit after release, similar to EA Play. Like
Gotcha.
you won't get brand new EA titles like day of on EA Play or Game Pass, but you'll get them like a couple months down the line. And then they always do the thing where it's like you can buy Battlefield 2042 for 10% off if you have EA Play, and it's like cool. I get $8 on a brand new game, like whatever. Like that's nothing.
I get a brand new game and I can go to Mickey D's. Let's go.
Yeah, like literally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird. And then like even within the inclusion of that Ubisoft stuff, you don't get the Ubisoft like legacy like any legacy games from PS3 streaming onto the PS3 catalog because it'd be
that would have been cool if we got all the old. I'm not even a big Assassin's Creed person, but like if all the old Assassin's Creeds were on
100%.
the PS3 streaming, or even the Ezio collection that was remade for PS4 was on the
I've only played through 2 once, but every time I see the Ezio collection, I almost buy it because Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite Assassin's Creed. I know unpopular opinion, Black Flag is great, didn't do it for me, but. And then Odyssey's here now too, but yeah, the Ezio collection, if that was here, that would be fantastic, and I probably would do it through this service.
Oh yeah.
So.
Again, this does beg the question of if like this list is kind of region generic.
Right. Yeah, I could see that being the case. I could also because like the thing is they're not gonna be like here's all the games up front, and I guarantee you they have stuff that's already planning to release over the summer because you can't just drop this and then leave it and not update the games. Because like it's always a big news story whenever like new games come to Game Pass or like that whenever they announce the 3 free monthly games. So they're gonna want to constantly be updating this. So I could see like over the summer them starting to like file in Knack 2. You know, come on, Mark.
I could see the summer or the fall because from what I've heard this weekend, according to Jeff Grubb, it's either PlayStation is doing something first week of June, or they're at this point what has become their yearly kind of end of September PlayStation showcase. And I think if that is their first big presentation in not only the kind of what is expected of the games industry in either the summer to kind of announce your stuff, but also their first big one after launching this service, it would be very dumb for them to not be like, hey, the service has been doing great in the small time it's been out, but here's what we have lined up. And like if they list like, 10 games and they're like, oh, and by the way, 2 of them are actually coming on today.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd even just drop all 10 today. I'd be like, yo, Shadow Drop, go update PlayStation.
I'm trying to be realistic here, Josh. All right, this is PlayStation.
But yeah, I see, like, could 110% see that being the case, and then them working with some of their like third party homies to get like, I don't know, the PS5 version of GTA 5 on here, like for the fall or something like that.
That was pretty much
Yeah.
already free for PS Plus members.
Yeah, exactly.
At least the online,
yeah.
but you basically got the single player with that.
Damn.
I think. Could be
Dang.
wrong.
Something else I'm just realizing in terms of like the very obvious omniscience is like, okay, well, some of them maybe they're like obvious omniscience, but like they couldn't get something struck with that publisher or something. But like Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, fantastic game, is on. But then with the PS1 classics, it's like Final Fantasy 7 isn't, which just seems like that should have been one that made way more sense for them to focus on because they know how many people are just going to want to go for that nostalgia.
Yeah, that
Right.
makes me believe more in the fact that they're holding off on some titles.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
aren't a bunch of old Final Fantasy games being added month by month this year to PlayStation Now?
I
I don't
can't
know.
remember.
Or
if
is that over now?
I don't know, because they had that thing where they're like, "Hey, we're doing all the classic games, but they're on mobile," and it's like, "What the
The
fuck?"
Pixel
Oh, the Pixel.
No, no,
Remasters.
that's different. But I
Oh,
feel like at one point in PlayStation Now, it was like, in this month, you're getting Final Fantasy 9, and then this month, you're getting Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2.
right. Yeah, that's definitely a weird omission.
mean,
too. Same with
yeah.
Go ahead, Alec.
I was just gonna say it's we'll go along with what we're saying. Like they have this pop right now. Like today, we're recording the Monday the 16th, where this is all announced. A month from now, when it comes out to the North America, they could do another pop of like, hey, this is out today. Here's even more games that you're getting. So
Right.
just get
Okay.
that another.
So
batch of
9
games.
months ago, before this was a officially announced service, there was on the PlayStation blog I'm reading, the title is Relive Some of the Most Iconic Adventures in RPG History. And this is all for PlayStation Now.
Mhm.
In September 7th, Final Fantasy 7, October 5th, Final Fantasy 8, November, Final Fantasy 9, 7 is 10 and 10-2. So obviously, they weren't going to say anything about the service when they made this blog post, but those are very
Right.
clearly now just going to get put onto this.
Yeah. Yeah, that and even like Final Fantasy 7 isn't here, like the remake, and it's because
That is a
I
weird one.
claimed that when it was free on PS Plus, but then they're like, "Yo, a PS5 version came out, but you don't get the upgrade fee if you claimed the PS Plus version,"
Weird.
and it's
Really
like
weird.
very confused, very muddled, and it's like I just like the PS5 version now. Put it on this, Austin.
That makes sense to me if they do the marketing thing where they finally announce part 2 of that game and then they put that version you just talked about on this service.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what just as a marketing beat that makes sense that maybe they do have it ready and they can just do that. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think they are holding it off for when they want to announce part 2 or whatever that game is of 7 remake.
But I agree with Josh, where when they finally put 7 remake on the service, they need to make it the PS5 version with the Yuki episode.
Yep, that's what I was trying to say. Agree to that it should be that version. If I tried to make that clear, you agreed with me. Thank you, Jordan.
You're welcome.
I
got you, man.
Thanks.
Video games are cool. The service hopefully is cool. Hopefully gets updated
Random one
quite a bit.
Sorry, random one that we haven't really talked about that much. Infamous Second Son. I played 1. I played 2. I played all the DLC. I have not played Second Son.
I enjoyed it.
Is there like an up-res or PS5 type version of that game? No. Fuck.
That's the thing too. They also put in here is some of the PS4 games are going to get a FPS boost, similar to the way Xbox does it. So,
because
it would.
Good.
I was gonna say it'd be cool if like Infamous got that treatment and Bloodborne, because fucking From Software fans.
But see, that's going to be harder with the streaming games.
Yeah,
but he said with the PS4, he didn't say the PS3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the PS4 games.
You know, I heard Bloodborne, but my brain went PS3 Demon Souls for some reason, so I'm very sorry for that.
Gotcha.
I've had those moments. Your brain just says something else. I get it.
Because we were specifically talking about Infamous and stuff, but yeah, no. So Austin, I would say this. Infamous Second Son is But like looks wise, like it looks pretty good for a launch PS4 game.
Mhm.
And I can only assume on PS5 with like things looking better, it'll look real nice. It has a lot of particle effects.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think I even had it because it was on PS Plus like a long ass time ago, I
Oh
think, and I
yeah.
yep.
think I claimed it, and I still haven't played it. So I think what I'm waiting
Right.
for is something where it will look like as pretty as possible, and maybe
Mhm.
that's the excuse I need to play it.
Well,
Like I said, I played all the other ones, just not
yeah.
that one. And
If you've played Second Son, you'll then get the context to play First Light, which is an arguably better game, even though it was DLC.
so I've heard.
Yeah.
I thought about just playing First Light, but then someone said, "No, you gotta play the base game if you're gonna understand that." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Damn
Yeah.
it!" But yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe if it
I'd say
does get the FPS boost or whatever, I jump into that. We'll see. I usually
I enjoyed
don't.
Second Son.
Empty
I was gonna
promise,
say.
probably, but
I enjoyed it. It definitely is the weaker of the
Oh
trilogy,
yeah.
I guess.
I'm
I
not saying that,
can't
but
wait. I
I
cannot wait for me to replay 1 and 2 via streaming. I
totally.
hope it's
Mhm.
not bad.
I don't know why this happened, but the most iconic beanie in a video game is Delson's beanie. I swear to God.
I literally pre-ordered the collector's edition of that
For the
game
Yeah.
beanie?
that came with that beanie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have that beanie because it's so
somewhere.
dope.
well, because they
Yeah,
always
like
do the
literally.
close up of him like jumping up into the sky with his face right at the camera.
Yeah, I did like the slow mo
Mhm.
kind of in that moment. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally remember that.
Although
Like
I will say the fact that it came with the beanie is a smidge disappointing when you remember that Infamous's 2 like collector's edition came with Cole's bag,
Yeah.
like from the
Oh yeah.
first
Oh
game.
wait,
yeah.
They're
wait,
being
wait, wait, wait,
way
wait, wait,
cool.
wait.
That is a
Did it
thing
have
that exists.
did it have a little Sly Cooper sticker on it?
Yeah,
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
because his bag in the game has that. It is a
Yeah.
pretty
That's why I was
much
asking. Thank you very much, Jordan.
yeah, it is an exact replica.
Damn it.
Even the Ghost of Tsushima collector's edition, you get Jin's mask. Like Sucker Punch just makes cool ass shit that their protagonists wear,
Mhm.
and then they put that in the collector's edition.
Honestly,
And
like collector's editions for characters that wear cool shit needs to come with it. I didn't play Mass Effect Legendary Edition until this January. I almost bought it last year just because I wanted a space mask.
Mhm.
yeah, 100%.
And now you go on their website, you can only get the one from Andromeda.
I can
Oh
find
yeah,
one
the
on I
delayed
can find
version.
a remake of this like a handmade one for $40 that
Oh, see, I
has
was gonna go on
the
eBay and
bag and
see how much the originals are selling for.
A sealed one, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything like okay, so I imagine, day one this is gonna roll out, and I don't know if they're gonna be like, here's a PlayStation Plus blog with all like the full list,
Probably.
or if it's gonna be like Christmas and we're all just gonna have to go in there and be like start tweeting like, oh my god, fucking
I
Knack
hope it's
2's in
that
here.
second one.
I think it'll be
Right?
both. I think it'll be both.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
have some blog post that details most, but not all of what we need to know, and then you'll see more Twitter bullshit.
I
Yeah.
think the
Good
information
bullshit.
will unofficially be there where if when this launches this month in some of the foreign markets,
True. Yeah.
if those like websites that the websites made for those countries have a list of games and some of them are
Right.
not on here, we're like, oh, so this
Mhm.
was just these are the games that'll be in
Yeah.
every market, but this
Right.
market got stuff added to it.
Exactly. IGN Italy
Mhm.
is like, yo, here's the full list of everything that's on PlayStation Plus. You know. Is there anything you're hoping to see when you crack this open day one? Any big titles?
Are you shitting me right now? Do you need to ask me this goddamn question? I've mentioned Sly
Yeah.
Cooper like 3 times on this podcast. I
I
am
mean,
outraged that you had to ask me that question. Thank you.
So Ratchet and
I'm at a
Clank.
point. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you.
I'm a huge Sly fan too. At this point, I'm holding out hope for a full blown Blue Point remake
Yep.
or some
It
studio.
won't be Blue Point. I think it'll be some random
Yeah,
studio
but
or
even some
Pixel
random studio,
Opus.
I'd take.
Just saying, I called it on
Right.
Twitter a while ago. Do you remember Pixel Opus? They made Concrete Genie.
Concrete
Which is
Genie.
on here.
Yes, but
Oh
think
yeah.
about the game Concrete Genie, and what just
Oh
their
yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
type of dev that they
Absolutely.
are, and then think of the IP Sly Cooper. Do they not
Right.
mesh? Do they not?
Oh, 100% they do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
that'd be dope.
I think
I
that
haven't
could be
played a Sly
another.
Cooper game, so
You
Yeah.
never have? Okay, well you need to.
I
Just play
didn't have
Sly
a
2.
PS2, so
Just play Sly 2. That's the only one you need.
Right.
But that's another situation where I mentioned the Final Fantasy thing. Like they're holding off, potentially holding off on bringing that PS5 version with the DLC or whatever
mhm.
for when they announce whatever Part 2 is. I think that a similar thing could
Right.
happen with the Sly collection and upraised stuff of Sly 1, 2, and 3 with mini games and stuff for when they
Mhm.
announce said remake. And then that I would lose
Right.
my fucking shit. Let me tell you.
Right.
Yeah. I'd personally like to see the original Ratchet and Clank games on here, whether they are added as PS2 games or whether they are added as there was the PS3 trilogy remaster, and then on top of that, there was Deadlocked remasters for PS3 that was only available in some European markets, and it was digital only.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird because there were technically 4 Ratchet and Clank games on PS2. I feel like because they've remade the first one, I would prefer really just getting the 3 sequels.
The PS3 ones? Or
No,
the
sorry,
PS2?
the 3 PS2 sequels:
PS2
Up Your Arsenal,
So,
Going Commando, and Deadlocked.
right. Because all we have is a quest for Booty, A Crack in Time, and Into the Nexus for PS3.
Yeah, we don't even have Rift Apart or the 2016 version on here.
Yeah, which is that one. I could see that being like snuck in. You know, like
Same.
it's not part of this list because like most people,
but it's on
hopefully
there
already
kind of
played
thing.
it.
Yeah.
But it's there. Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
hope that's the case.
you know what else I want on here, but like I know for a fact there's no reason why it would happen.
Give it
The PS1 Neversoft Spider-Man game. Just fucking
my
put that on
God.
the PS1 Classics.
That's something I would play. I'd play for like one time for like an hour and I'd never touch again. But that 1 hour would be so fucking
Dude,
cool.
do you know how badly I just want Insomniac to remake that game in their engine?
Yeah.
Just
I could
web swing into nothing.
Yes, web swing into nothing. You can't hit the ground because the map didn't work like that yet.
Those are some games though where I could see Activision, like once the Activision deal goes through, I could see Activision and Microsoft being petty in there, like, yo, backwards compatible, all the Spider-Man games, like the Sam Raimi trilogy Spider-Man games, and you don't get them on PlayStation, motherfuckers. You know, and everyone can go back and play Shattered Dimensions like backwards compatible.
They would all be able to. I think Microsoft would get full ability to do that, except with the movie games, because those movies are still technically owned by Sony.
Right.
They find a way. They'll find a way around it.
I like how no matter whether it's movies or video games, Spider-Man is just always in like the kid going through a divorce.
Right.
Yeah, basically.
I shouldn't have laughed, but I did. My parents are divorced, all right? I can laugh.
Hey, listen, his parents are dead, so if they were getting divorced, that would actually be a net positive for Spider-Man.
That'd be a big bonus for Peter. Oh yeah.
All right.
I'll say for mine,
yeah.
I think it'd be cool to see the Persona games on here.
Oh yeah, like Golden.
Yeah, Persona 4 Goldens, get the Persona 5 Royal, even like I know they had the dancing games, get those on there. Persona 4, the fighting one, like yeah, they even had Persona 3, 1, 2, and 3 on the PS Plus, or the 1 and 2 on the PS Plus Classic. So, or PS.
I think
Classic.
I would.
Oh yeah.
I would love to play Golden for a solid 35 hours and realize I'm only 12% through the game and be like, fuck it. I'd love to do that.
Those games sound so overwhelming. Like I don't have enough time.
Dude, same. But like, they're such a me game. They're just so fucking long.
Maybe the next pandemic when we're in lockdown, it's like Persona time.
I mean, you joke. That's when I played Persona 5 Royal. Was when we were in lockdown.
I have a real question. Is it worth playing it on that super? There's a super easy mode. I don't remember what it's called. It's like
story mode,
safe.
Whatever.
I think it's called safe mode.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah, is it worth playing on safe mode just to go through it? Because that's the only way.
I would suggest start playing through it at like easy or medium, whatever, and then eventually bring it down to safe, because that's basically what I did in my first playthrough of Persona 5. Like, because I got to like the second to last dungeon and I just could not beat the boss. So then you know what? I've put in 90 hours at this point. I need to see this through. So I put it down to that lowest difficulty, and it is just a cakewalk.
Yeah, like, see, that's why I'm thinking about just doing the whole game like that.
It sucked doing that. It sucked doing that, if I'm being honest. Like, that late in the game, like, because it's just like, oh, this is actually fun, like, challenging, and then it's just like, oh, you can't change difficulty once you go to that difficulty. You can't go back up from there. So it's like you're just stuck, just like, oh, I use this simple attack and you're done. Cool.
Damn.
Don't think of it as being easy. Think of it as you just being God.
I'm a god.
Is 5 Royal on PlayStation Plus collection?
No, just 5.
No,
Just Royal.
it's just the base.
Or
Oh,
just
it's
5. Just 5, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you
And
should.
isn't it getting
Royal is
removed?
way worth it. Yes.
Oh,
All
I totally bought Royal and didn't play it.
Royal is so much better than 5. Like, there's so many quality of life improvements. So if it does get, if they put Persona 5 on there, I'm hoping it's Royals because it's way better.
I wish I wish Catherine was on here because that's a game that more people would try. I think if it was on this service like this. You guys remember Catherine, right? I brought it up a few times.
It's
Isn't
the
there
puzzle game with the girl on the cover.
Yeah, with
and Troy Baker, and he's super
Yes.
horny, and
Yep.
then there's some remaster called like Full Body Edition, and it's like, whoa,
Yep.
bro. What
Listen,
the fuck
I
is
worked
this?
at GameStop when this game was like a couple of years old and like was pre-owned a lot, and like the people that were coming in and talking about this game and like buying this game gave me the heebie-jeebies.
I'm sorry, the game's good, dude.
No, but then that's the other thing. It's like it looks like such a adult nude game, and then you find out the gameplay is just puzzles.
Yeah.
The gameplay is mostly puzzles because it's puzzles when he's dreaming. But there is like honestly what I enjoyed more were the cutscenes where you're just choosing what alcohol to drink and you're talking to your friends and this weird shit's happening in the background and you're just supposed to try to figure out this narrative that's happening. Like there will be at some point because you'll keep coming back to this bar, right? And there'll be like different people that are guests that are in there. And at one point, the bartender just has like this weird aura around him and he's growing horns and shit. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? Why can't I go talk to this man?
And it's all about you like getting horny for another girl when you're in a relationship.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It
Yes,
just sounds like there's a lot going on.
But
Yeah. It's
the chick's a
Go ahead,
succubus.
oh
Okay.
She
Chick's
can
a
suck
succubus.
this abyss.
So here's the thing. It's kind of not his fault because like that's how the succubus works. It's like this demonic bullshit. But then again, it's like he's kind of a piece of shit. So whatever.
right. It balances.
I
out.
just
Yeah,
spoiled the whole game for you.
It seems like the most Jordan and I game, and then you look at
Dude.
like gameplay, and it's like,
Hey. I may be horny on main, but I am not no goddamn weeb, okay?
As someone who does not like the puzzle segments in that game, the puzzle segments are kind of dope. Like they're very unique. If you try to find any other puzzle game like it, I don't think you will. And there's like a legitimate competitive scene behind those puzzles to this day,
right.
where people are just fucking all the way up, and you're like, cool.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's
then I just gotta ask Jordan, when you worked at GameStop, like when you would open a used copy, is it like opening like a sticky magazine where it's just like creaking open and like
Not to my
slowly-
memory.
or the,
A lot of
or
the
the game or the
It
game
probably
manual
stunk
was
though, right? It had a
stuck
weird
in
odor.
That game, no. There was a guy who every time you'd open up a game case of his, the smell of weed would just hit you because he was
Oh,
rolling
hell
in
yeah.
his game cases.
That's fine.
But speaking of the creepy people, listen, there was a dude once who came in talking about, it was one of the Digimon games for the 3DS. I couldn't tell you which one.
For what?
Yes, apparently they were still making Digimon games during the 3DS era. But he was complaining about the outfits for how the outfit color scheme was the same for the male and female character, but like it worked with one and didn't work for the other just because like the color didn't make sense. And he was like, he's like, the colors just look better on the male character, but like, I don't know. If I'm going to be staring at an avatar from the back for hours at a time, I'd rather be the female one, you know? And I'm like, calm down, son. It's just a drawing. Also, I think she's 10.
Ooh. Anyways, what I'd like to see on here is I feel like there's some indie games missing. And I don't know if this is like solely because this is like their their sample, so they want to make it big AAA games. But like, you know, back in the PS3, PS4 era, there was that big like PlayStation loves indies push, and like PlayStation was the place for indies before the Switch.
Celeste is on here. How's that?
That's pretty dope. And so I feel like there's a bunch of games that have already come out on other platforms and now are slowly making their way to PlayStation, and they should totally be on here. I'm thinking like Unpacking, Road 96, Lake, Short Hike, like Trek to
Death's Door.
Yomi could even be put on here. Death's Door, 100%. So that's
Play Artful
what I'm
Escape.
hoping is.
It's a good game.
It is on
Yeah.
here. Artful Escape is on
Yeah.
here. Luckily.
That's what I'm saying. Play it.
And that's what's giving me hope is that we'll see some of these indies too.
I'm surprised
hopefully it's-
Journey isn't on here.
Yeah,
I think it's because they've
that's
given that
weird.
away so much. Like everybody probably has
If you
it.
don't have Journey at this point,
Is,
you are an
That's on
idiot.
you.
You missed out. Yeah.
Arcana, Bridge of Spirits on here, or however you pronounce that name?
No, but I
didn't
could
see
totally
it,
see
no.
that being
Oh, yeah.
like their first
Launch
update
day
of
kind of
games.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I could 110% see that.
When did that one come out again? Because I'm trying to again figure out if there's like some
I think
pattern.
that was like October, November.
September.
Okay, so they definitely have at least one newer game because Death Stranding is on here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Death Stranding. Yeah.
I
Any last
reviewed
closing
it
thoughts?
in September,
Okay.
Okay.
so it probably came out early.
I'd say maybe go through and what tier is everybody thinking of getting?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Part of me, like, I kind of want a big ball and, flex
Mhm.
and get the most expensive one, but like, I think bang for your buck wise, like that middle,
The
like
extra, yeah.
premium, the extra tier is like 100% where it's at. Yeah,
Question.
Austin.
If I'm not
Yes.
gonna use that streaming catalog, do I need to get the second tier? What else is like special? I know there's like more games or whatever, but is the more games just that streaming stuff?
No, the more
Um,
games. Well, so Essentials is basically what PlayStation Plus is currently.
Mhm.
Extra
Yeah.
gets you the PS4, PS5 catalog.
Mhm.
Premium gets you the classic games, PS3 streaming games, and then the 2-hour game trials.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I'm probably just gonna get the middle tier because I don't need the other tier. I won't use it.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like once they come out and they're like the classics is a little bit more developed and we know what's all on there, then I could see myself upgrading from extra to premium. Like as soon as there's like some more PS2 games tossed in there, some like games like Metal Gear or anything, I could totally see myself upgrading to get those.
Did you notice
classics.
the marketing tactic that they did with that, where they made the price pretty damn close to the middle tiers,
yeah.
just to see like, oh, I'll just get the
That's-
big tier. It's fine.
Yeah.
Austin,
Yeah.
you don't. But that's a huge like overall just marketing thing. Like that's why
That's
there's
why I
like
brought
the
it up.
Apple, like that's a like 10 marketing 101 kind of thing. You
Yeah,
give three options.
I prefaced it as that when I brought it up. But yes, Alec, you are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that middle tier is definitely there for a reason to make it close to the top tier, just
Yep.
to make you pay more for the top tier. Totally.
Interesting.
Jordan,
Yeah.
How about what are you thinking?
I'm probably going for the highest tier. I don't know
Oh.
why.
Sorry,
just
no, hold
because-
on. You were Southern for like half a millisecond at the beginning of that
I'm going
sentence.
for that
Thank-
highest tier.
Sorry,
That is so weird.
I thought we were playing the Colonel Sanders simulator again. And we just
Gosh,
slipped into that voice.
you heard that,
you got
right?
into that voice for
It
a
wasn't
little
just
bit,
me.
yeah. Not to say that, yeah.
Well, I do apologize, Austin.
Here's what I think the benefit of PlayStation Plus Premium is, boy.
It's just that I'm so disappointed in myself, I guess. I don't know. Because here's the thing, is like, I'm probably going to use, if anything, I think right now the thing I'm going to use first is PS3 streaming. More because I even look at the PS4 and PS5 games that are available, and some of them are like, oh yeah, I wanted to get to that, but like of the ones that like I'm like, oh, I've been wanting to get to them. I actually have Control Ultimate Edition and Concrete Genie from PlayStation Plus from last year. Returnal is kind of a game that I want to try for the gameplay aspect of, but I was like, I will never
Very
beat
good
that game in
gameplay.
one run. So it's
I
like,
haven't.
fuck it. But I've been wanting to replay Infamous 1 and 2 for a minute now. But part of me is just like, if they ever add something really good to the classics, I want to just have it at the ready. So I'm just gonna say fuck it, get the highest tier, and not look at my bank statement.
You can probably just upgrade the day of, right? And you can probably just pay the extra
yeah.
$20 or whatever.
That's so much work, you know what I mean?
So instead, I'm gonna pay extra $20 for 4 months or whatever until this happens.
I'm just gonna pay for the year outright.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
So, what I think, because there's a deal I got earlier this year or late last year where I stacked up my PlayStation Plus to like 2026. So I got a lot because it was like $20-$30 for a year. So I'm like, I'm just gonna stack this.
How does that work for this? So you just have to pay the upgrade fee?
So I think there was a chart a while back of like this much equates to this much of like each tier kind of thing.
Sure.
So if that's what's going to happen, I think what I'm gonna do is just transition all to premium. Just run that out, because I originally was going, when I heard about all these games getting announced, my first thought was, because there's not too much of the classic games that I recognize, I just need to stick with the extra. Right. And then friend of the show, Matt Ferguson, who designed the Shared Screens logo, he reminded me of the game trials, which I had completely forgotten about when all this was announced. So that's what makes me think I'm going to go to premium first and then probably switch to just extra.
Right.
Whenever that's, and depending on whenever that transition period is, maybe see what classics are available and maybe make the decision then. But I think I'm going to do premium and then maybe transition to extra.
Yeah, the time trials also do mean something to me. I will say that.
Mm-hmm. I love that in the PS3 generation. I've been begging for those to come back because those are so cool, just to get that little bite size of a game.
100%.
I would know.
Yeah.
Mom. God damn it! You didn't get Wi-Fi.
That's gonna do it for us here on Media Club. Comment down below what you're gonna get, whether you're gonna get the extra, the premium, or maybe you're just gonna stick with the essentials. Like the video if you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of our other content. We reviewed Moon Knight, Trek to Yomi if you're interested in that. We got This is the Waypoint coming back for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So much going on here. Be sure to check it out. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time on Media Club. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.